Hey everybody, welcome back to this live episode of Think Business. Looking forward to talking with Lyle Wolberg. Lyle, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good afternoon.
So I want to give everybody a quick bio on you. We're going to be talking about two things today. One, you're the founding partner of Telemus and responsible for working with some of the firm's largest relationships. So I really want to talk about what it's like building relationship capital in a COVID/post-COVID world. But also your involvement in First Tee, which is a nonprofit organization that exists to enable kids to build the strength of character that empowers them through a lifetime of new challenges. You're a board member of that, and I want to kind of dive in there. So because I think right now, especially with COVID, as we sit here February 1st, which almost seems kind of like the start of a new year. January seemed a little crazy. And so as we sit here in kind of like this post-COVID world, I think it's given people a lot of time to reflect internally and connect differently to passions that are important to them. And I know you're a huge golfer. I know how passionate you are about golf. And I love golf. And so when I saw this nonprofit that I saw you post that you were on the board for, First Tee, I thought, yeah, this is a great example of finding the time, making the time, and taking your passion and really giving back. And so I'd love for you to just maybe start off by educating people on what First Tee is, and just to give everybody kind of a little bit of insight.
Yeah, I mean, John, you nailed it too. It's, for me, I've always try to be a good member of the community, and I volunteered my time, and but the ability, and I never really thought that there was this opportunity to combine my personal passion with the passion of giving back to the community. So when the First Tee became available, and it kind of transpired through my involvement with the Children's Hospital of Michigan, which has morphed into the Children's Foundation, which is now, for the lack of a better explanation, it's really turned into the United Way for everything surrounding children's charities in Southeast Michigan. So child health and wellness is what the Children's Foundation is about. And then the First Tee of Greater Detroit had some issues kind of with their infrastructure. There's a lot of organizations out there that just have great intentions, but as far as doing the heavy lifting of, accounting and investments and marketing. So the First Tee was started by the PGA of America, and it's really being supported by them. And then they set up these separate chapters, and they saw the First Tee of Greater Detroit with the Quicken announcement that they were going to sponsor Rocket Mortgage Classic at Detroit Golf Club. There was a huge opportunity to really build out this chapter. And so they came to the Children's Foundation. The Children's Foundation said, for sure, we want to get involved. And they named a few board members of their own, and then we got some other board members involved. But really the First Tee is about, taking this love of the game of golf and some of the characteristics that I think golf teaches you as a person. So honesty, integrity. But let's keep Patrick Reed and this past weekend out of that discussion.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he would be a member of the First Tee at this point. But sportsmanship, respect, confidence, responsibility, perseverance, courtesy, and judgment. Those are the kind of this 9 staples of this First Tee. And so what we're trying to do by bringing in coaches. So like if anyone's listening to this, that they love the golf and they want to do something, we need coaches to go with, I think it's up to 4 students at a time to become their coach and mentor and spend time with them on the practice range and maybe on the golf course. But it's really an opportunity for people to take that passion of golf, if they have that, and teach kids, who are underserved, in the areas of our community, that golf could be a great learning opportunity, not just to have a passion, but also about these things that we like to have in our life and think are so important.
Yeah. So I love everything that you're talking about, and because golf is an amazing sport. but golf can be an expensive sport to get good at. And so, taking an underserved community and giving them and giving back while everybody's doing stuff they love, it also lends, and I just think it's, some of the statistics of First Tee, everybody talks a lot about community today, right? Building community within your business, building community in general. And 91% of the participants in First Tee end up giving back to the community, which I think is, if you quantify things of that nature, then that's huge. And the organization is helping 3.8 million youths annually. So again, this is, sometimes you come across an organization, as I did on this one from your LinkedIn post, that you've never heard of, and you think, how have I never heard of it? So yeah. So I'd like to kind of dive in a little bit to, what it does for you. Like, what does giving back do for you? Because I think giving back is what fuels the soul, right? I think it makes us all better at what we do with our families and our work. And tapping into that DNA of yourself is important. So what does it do for your soul?
Well, I mean, I think that, and I know that I've been fortunate, to build the firm and raise a family, and we're privileged. So the fact that I get to go and help other people, maybe get a passion that I share, but more importantly, just put some perspective on life and how lucky we are to be where I'm at. I mean, I have the ability to work from home during this COVID crisis. I have the ability to employ people and didn't have to lay them off. And so, just being able to go out and donate, whether it's my time, my expertise, and, typically it's been, and John, this is why I'm so excited about the First Tee. Yeah. Typically, I've donated my time, and they always steer me to the investment committee.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, man, it's okay, great. That's right. What I do, right? I mean, I can add that value to, I'm not on the grant committee, and I'm typically not on the marketing committee. But, in every organization that I've donated my time to, that's where they steer me to, either the finance or the investment side. Yeah. So the fact that with First Tee, I can combine this idea of having something I love to do outside of work, and I'm decent and pretty good at it. That's where I'm excited about. But, to your point, it's all about putting everything in perspective, knowing yourself, knowing how lucky we are, and trying to do something to help someone else, gain the same, success that I have.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thanks for all the great work you're doing over there. It sounds exciting. All right, so let's talk about you now. Just as a founding partner of Telemus, businessman, you're dealing with some of the largest relationships in the firm. Today, I think building relationship capital is so different. I mean, you got the stock market that's over 30,000. We've had a volatile, the last 10 months. There's so many changes, and relationships are so important to have the right resources at your fingertips. And so, how do you see yourself building relationships with your clients today versus February of last year and before that?
I've said this, I've been doing this for way too long. I think I got into business in 1993. When there's a lot of volatility and uncertainty in the stock market or in the world, that's when we actually see more opportunities to build a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not necessarily when everything's going great. I don't think our value is seen as clearly as it is when there's a lot of volatility or kind of world crisis and turmoil. So what we've done at the firm during this time, obviously we had to pivot from where I was meeting new people at events or taking them out to lunch or grabbing a cup of coffee. We've pivoted to this virtual world that we live in. But we also pivoted the firm away from just bringing investment advice or ideas to, what can you do to help enrich your life and improve your life. And so, as simple as bringing doctors on a webinar to talk about what people should do during COVID and how they can avoid, or improve their chances of living through this crisis. We brought them, and we had huge response to that. And again, it had nothing to do with the investment world per se, but it was just touching people in multiple ways. And
yeah,
I when I got in the business, there was I went to a seminar, and this guy came up on stage and had a rope, and he pulled someone out of the audience and said, "Grab the end of the rope." And the person grabbed the rope, and he said, "This piece of rope represents your connection to your client, and this is your connection is investments." And he just pulled the rope out. And then you saw there was no connection to the client anymore. And then he pulled out 10 or 15 different ropes, handed them to the person, and said, "Each one of these ropes represents your connection to the client." Now, it might be that you provide tax advice, that you provide estate planning advice, that you're just there to answer questions about their mortgages and their liabilities and all the other things that we do that are just not investment related. And he pulled the investment rope out and said, "You're still connected all these different ways to the client." So today, with what we're going through, it's not just about investment performance. It's about how many different ways can I be connected to my client. And personal is obviously a big one. You want to feel like you're connected to the client personally, but when you're connected in many different ways, not just how the performance is, it helps.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about, because I think a lot of times companies take for granted that their clientele have access to some of the people that you're talking to. And even if they have the access, a lot of the times they don't have time to actually go out and talk to the, organize and structure things. And so the more you can, that's what I love about this podcast, is I get to talk to people every day and be this resource of asking people questions to help other people grow their business. But I think sometimes people that's one of the things where you're talking about what you did was so simple, it's complicated. And
right.
And people love it. People love that. So when you look at kind of pivoting your business as you did, and you're looking at the next, let's just say 12 to 18 months, because it seems like we're going to be in this for a little bit longer than I think a lot of people have. There's a little bit of Zoom fatigue. People are starting to get a little bored. There's people who are thriving in their business, and then there's companies, as we see, that are just going out of business. How does Telemus, how do you see it continually pivoting, through these next 12, 18 months?
Well, so we're out there trying to figure out, where Wayne Gretzky said, where the puck's going to be,
right?
Not where it is today. And one of the things that we added, we saw, we started it, and people that were crazy. We started a new division last January or February, right when the crisis started. And we had seen this starting to happen, and now it's going to be, I think, more in demand or need. We saw a lot of our clients who were here with older, with their parents in need of more assistance.
Mm-hmm.
So what we built out was something that we had not seen here in our market. Now we've seen it in LA, a little bit in New York, where we're doing with a dedicated, team. We're basically paying all the bills for our clients. We're taking in the mail. We're negotiating, insurance. It's called a family office suite of services.
Wow.
We found someone who has expertise, who was doing this in a lot of cases for their clients. She was a CPA. she was done with doing tax returns in busy season in April.
Yeah.
We created this division, our family office service division, that's there to take that service to another level. And
yeah,
when you have a parent who's maybe still living independently, but you're just worried that all of a sudden, are they paying their bills to the right person? Are they getting taken advantage of? So we step in for all those, individuals that are traveling all over the place or living out of state. And then we're taking it, to a different level for the clients that can afford and don't want to worry about the day-to-day, finance. And then we're taking care of how much money goes to different investments, real estate deals and stuff. So we're reinventing ourselves.
Yeah.
So the other thing we did, we hired someone this last year out of Chicago who goes into corporations, and basically the company pays us to do financial plans as an executive suite of services to their executives.
It's great.
A lot of companies have stock options and grants and all these, and so we go in and we really know their benefit package, and we can advise their executives so that the executive doesn't have to worry about, am I taking advantage of all that's offered to me? So we're creating, anything in the financial life management. That's why we kind of changed our name from just Telemus Capital to Financial Life Management, because it's not just stocks and bonds. It's anything that touches someone's financial life.
Yeah. I love everything that you're talking about. Just the reinvention of things. There's things that I've reinvented my business that I would have never had the opportunity to do, like live podcasts on a regular basis. I also recognize that because of COVID, there's a lot of people that can't afford my one-on-one coaching. So I started creating coaching groups. Which I launched in December, which fits into everybody's budget. And I'm launching 3 more groups, which are very niche groups. But it never would have, if the way the market was, it would have never lent itself unless it was today. So I think it's great how you guys have, pivoted, and it just makes such simple sense. That's great. Let me ask you a question. Internally, as you kind of lead people, right, as you're making these changes, as you're reinventing a company, it begins to elevate, raise the frequency, raise the vibration of the whole energy of the culture, right? So when you go from changing the name from capital to financial, what is it? Financial living?
Financial life management.
Financial life management. Excuse me. I couldn't read my handwriting. Financial, right? That shifts the internal culture as well, and the rollout of that, I think, is really, really important. And I think a lot of companies miss that a lot of times. They do it. They don't talk to everybody about it. They don't roll it out. People don't necessarily understand. How has Telemus rolled that out so it's only to elevate the internal culture instead of confuse the culture?
Yeah, I mean, we're of the belief, and believe me, we and my partners and I, we got in this business as what you would say is a conventional stockbroker. So we would all look in the mirror and say our best quality and asset is not our management skills, right? I mean, we're not great at that. We love working with clients and taking care of clients. So what we did when we set up the firm, we had some, we had a few landmines along the way. We ultimately found great people to handle what we consider our HR world, our operations world, our marketing world. And one of the goals we set for ourselves, and it was really interesting. We knew our employee satisfaction was not as great as it should have been, and we had some issues. And what we set was one of our firm-wide goals each year was to be a great place to work.
Yeah,
Cranes has that ranking or the list, and it took us a few years, but we just got named this year to that, and that has to do with us being more transparent with everyone in the organization. I think if we rolled this out, one of the mistakes we made is we probably weren't, to your point, transparent enough with our own employees. Like, this is where we're going. So now we're at the point where we do monthly what we call chomping chats. We used to bring in lunch to each office and go video and lunch, and then we would just share, success stories and tidbits. We do quarterly town halls with all the employees. We put up our goals. Are we on track with them from a revenue, new business, all the different goals, one being, employee satisfaction. And then, we go through that and list up our, put our scorecard up there. So every employee knows where we're going.
Yeah.
And, that's to our, I think, our credit of our people in the management team who have done a great job of sharing that vision. We always had it in our mind what our vision was, but we didn't do a great job of sharing with the employees. And now, like I said, we got named to that best place to work, which was one of the goals, and we're going to keep moving forward to see how many years we can do it in a row.
It's great. I'm not surprised, Lyle. And I think just to kind of highlight one of the things you said, a company should be sharing their vision daily because people forget. And the leaders of the organization, I always find if they're talking in some way to the vision, it gives people something to like grab onto and know that they're part of creating that vision. So I just wanted to highlight that. And hiring great people, right? I mean, you got to hire, if you know where your strengths are and you hire people, great people to kind of fill in the gaps. That's great. Yeah. I love everything that you're talking about. All right, Lyle, you ready for a quick speed round?
Sure.
All
right. I don't know what that is, but I'll try.
Well, it's all right. It's all right. Favorite book and why?
Probably Traction. Gino, kind of reshaped, what we were doing as a firm, and I believe in what he says.
Yeah, I had him on the show a couple months ago. It was fun to talk to him. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Probably my dad. Just your name is and your integrity is all you have, and protect your name for everything. So when people are telling me they trust me, and that's what I'm selling. When I'm their advisors, it's trust. So that's probably it.
Finish this sentence, Lyle. One thing everybody needs to do in 2021 to be more connected with their employees or themselves is?
I would say, just be more open and honest with themselves. If you're not thinking about yourself that way, go out and make sure you're connecting with each employee as an individual. They're afraid, they might be scared right now. So I'm just spending a little extra time, when I pick up the phone to call someone in the organization, I'm going to be, spending a little extra time asking how they're doing.
Yeah, well said. Favorite golf course?
It would have to be Cypress Point.
Okay. And tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and who your ideal clients are, Lyle.
So, Telemus.com is a great starting place. We've got a lot of resources there. You can find my email there. Our ideal client is someone who has either built up wealth, inherited wealth, had a life-changing event, or is in the process of building their wealth right now. Ideally work with someone who, everyone can do this on their own. There's no question that you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
But you're looking for help so that you can enjoy your life. Typically we work with clients that have, net worths, in the $2 to $20 million range. We solve problems for them in the financial world. So if you're looking for a good idea, we usually have it. And if you have a good idea, we'd love to hear from you as well.
Well, that's key. I mean, you touched on something that's so important. What's an idea worth? Right. And what's the wrong, what wrong path can the wrong idea, even if it's wrong by this much. So I'm a big fan. You need advisors and guides to lead you down the right idea. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of First Tee if they want to kind of get involved.
So they can go to the website. It's firstteegreaterdetroit.org. that's the best way to get in touch with us there. And like I said, it's kind of it's a new emerging regime, and we have a new director. And so, if you're interested, reach out. Marianne is there and available. And like I said, we're looking for coaches, and hopefully, as we go down this path, ideally, some other chapters have actually built and created their own learning centers. So we're working with, various entities, whether it's the city of Detroit or some corporations, to try to figure out a way that we can have a learning center where the kids can go to, the coaches can meet them, and there'll be a range and maybe a few practice holes that we can work with the kids on learning the game.
That's great. Well, Lyle, I appreciate you being on the show. I appreciate you talking about the importance of vision, transparency, reinventing yourself, pivoting, and really connecting with what you love to do and the power of giving back. So I appreciate you being on the show. Always learn something from you. I just want to highlight too, I love your newsletters. The Telemus newsletters and commentary that you guys provide is great, which you can sign up at telemus.com. I always learn a ton from that. All right. So Think Community, if Lyle can help you, reach out. Lyle, thanks, man. I appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks, John. Be well. Hope everyone stays safe. Yes.
Thanks.
Take care.